In today's video, we're using the 92 to 95 Civic intercooler piping kit from Maxpeedingrods and adapting it to the truck. Let's go ahead and get started. Welcome to Texas Honda Channel. This is part 14 of K-swapping the Mazda B2300. If you're new here, please click that subscribe button and hit the like button as well. So in this video, I'm going to be installing the intercooler setup. This is for a 92 to 95 Civic. It also does fit 96 to 2000 Civic and 1988 to 91 with some modifications. It's a really nice intercooler kit, and the reason I chose this one was because it has some pretty decent bins that I could use, and it was a fairly cheap product. You can make it even cheaper by using code THC at checkout. That's Texas Honda Channel THC, and save yourself some money. Really good product for sure. So I'm going to install that. In order to do that, I have to remove the front bumper. There's 4 19mm nuts that are holding it on. They're on the back side right here, so you go in from the inside. We'll go ahead and remove those, then the bumper will come right off. Then we can start mocking up the intercooler, seeing what we need to do, make some brackets, and see what we got to work with. So I'm gonna go ahead and get to it. If you're new here, definitely click that subscribe button. So there's no way I could have got any luckier. I am truly blessed, that's for sure, because this thing fits just perfect inside of here. There's a little bit of wiggle room on each side for adjustments, but other than that, it's great. But as you can see, it fits in there great. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna probably use a piece of cardboard, make a template that needs the bins and everything it needs, and we'll drill a hole here, use our RIVNUT tool, which will allow us to have threads. If you don't have a RIVNUT tool, you can get one, link will be in the description, or you can just use a really long nut and bolt. That'll work just fine too. So I'm gonna go ahead and get the brackets figured out and made, and then we will bolt this thing in. Okay, so the best way I've found to make templates is just using a piece of cardboard, cut it out to about the shape you think you'd want it. Then you can go ahead and bend it, and after it's bent, you can mark it. So that'll be bend 1, and then you bend again right here, so that's bend 2. Then you can put a bolt through the hole to find the center, which I know right where the center is. Mark it up here as well, put a bolt through there, mark it there as well, and then you've got yourself a little template. So it'll be straight, you put it in a vise or something like that, and you can bend it, and then you will bend it again to where you got the right shape. Then you can make it out of metal, which this is real flimsy metal. I'm just using it as an example. Real easy to make the bends. So that way you've got a perfect little bracket. So it's a really inexpensive way to make your own bracket when they don't make a bracket for exactly what you're doing. So I'm gonna go ahead and pull the grill off. That way we can have access in here, so I can start drilling the hole and putting the RIVNUTs in. Okay, now that I have access to the top, instead of marking the hole, I'm just gonna go ahead and drill it all. That way it all just lines up. Okay, so this is it. Put the nut insert in the hole. Then I tighten it as tight as I can get it. Then squeeze the handle. Then we loosen it. Now there's a threaded hole, so we can bolt this directly on top. Okay, the intercooler is officially held up on its own with the brackets that we made, and everything's looking pretty good. Now I can easily add another underneath here and do another RIVNUT, just to strengthen it up, but for right now, it's looking good. We still have plenty of a gap right here so that we can put the coupler and clamp on. Same thing on this side as well. Has plenty of a gap for a coupler and a clamp. It's looking good. So next test is to see if the bumper goes on with no issues. So I'm gonna go ahead and get it up there. We'll see what happens. This part is a little difficult to do without scratching everything up by myself, but I'm sure I'll manage. There's plenty of room to be able to bolt it on. And the intercooler has perfect clearance. Okay, as you can see, the intercooler bolts in there absolutely perfect with no issues. Bumper bolts on fine, no problem. So I'm gonna paint the intercooler black like I usually do. I know a lot of people are gonna complain about that, but it's how I'm gonna run my build, so just chill. It's gonna be black, and then it's gonna have the green Moore stencil that I've ran. I ran it on my old EF hatch, both of my EF hatches that I turboed, and I ran it on my orange car, and I think it just gives it a nice personal touch, my own little signature touch. So I'm gonna go ahead and take the bumper back off, and we're gonna try to get the pipes ran. All right, so for my first pipe, we got this one right here. I want that nipple on there, so if you were wondering, yes, I do want to keep that there because I need to run that to the back side of this intake manifold. But anyways, this will go in there just like this. Perfect. So it'll connect right up to the throttle. And if we go under here, it's sitting right here. Now I do have some wiggle room, so I can turn it just a little bit this way. Shouldn't touch the tire at all. And then all I have to do is come from here over to here, which shouldn't be too big of an issue. So I'm going to measure a couple pipes, get them cut up, and we'll see exactly how much we have to work with. Okay, so I have this pipe right here with the blow-off valve spot, which I still have to get a blow-off valve. I went ahead and marked it. What I'm gonna do is run it here, then cut it here. Then from here, I will be putting this part and that part cut right there. So it'll have a perfect spot. Now obviously it'd be better to get all these pipes welded together instead of using coupler after coupler after coupler, because that's just gonna create or have a potential for more boost leaks. But I'm just doing what I can to get by, guys. Hope you guys understand that. But yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and chop these, put all the couplers on them, and we'll see if it works. All right, got it all on there. Fit pretty good. And this is why I chose the 9295 kit. It's because I knew it had some of the right bends that I needed. We still have room to put a blow-off valve right here. I can also flip this around, put the blow-off valve down here. Either way, it'll have a blow-off valve right there or down here. I had a spare coupler over here that I just put back here. I'm gonna try to get to some exhaust shop or somewhere that can weld this up, weld the aluminum together there, weld it here. So that way there's two less couplers, two less chances of boost leaks. So everything's looking pretty good. And this is what it looks like up top. The line runs perfectly down. Then I can use the nipple that's right here, run it all the way back to the barb fitting back here for the air idle control valve, because that's what that needs to run in front of the throttle. So yeah, that's working good. As for the passenger side right here, we have the passenger side for the 9295 Civic pipe. I'm gonna basically just shove it up in there, and as you can see, it's gonna be perfect curve and everything yet again. So I'm gonna go ahead and chop the excess off because inside it curves towards the front. So I'm gonna cut it off right here at the curve. So that way it's a straight up into the engine bay. And go ahead and put the coupler on. So I'm gonna do that. Okay, just gonna put it in. And there it is. So, we still have perfect clearance. The wheel will not hit it. So we're good there. So now up here in the engine bay, you can see it sticking up right there. So we only have to go from right here to right there. So I'm gonna see what bends we have left, and we'll figure that out. All right, so after some careful planning and doing some eyeball measurements, I found a couple bends that work and some straights. Unfortunately, yes, more couplers, but I think I can make this actually work. So I'll go ahead and put it in this part down here first. and put it in this part up here. And there it is. Now the turbo's not fully bolted down, as you can see, and the manifold. I have the turbo to where you can clock it just by loosening up the 13mm bolts on the back so you can spin it. And that's it. It goes right down there perfectly. Move this out of the way. You can see it just goes right there. Perfect smooth curves, straight down into it. So all I have to do now is tighten that clamp and tighten this clamp up here. And the intercooler piping is officially ran off of a 92 to 95 Civic intercooler kit. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that. All right, got it all back together. I went ahead and put one of my pod filters I had just on the turbo, see what it'd look like. Everything's looking really good. Now I will probably get a turbo guard set up for whenever I go to the track and stuff like that, but normal driving, it's just gonna have a pipe coming out of here with the filter ran in this area to get as much cool air as I possibly can. I know that these cut back about 5 to 10 horsepower just by having a filter on, so running it without a filter, it actually makes more power. We proved this on the dyno actually. But yeah, I still gotta get a 3-inch clamp for the throttle and 1 or 2 more clamps for behind the bumper. But I went ahead and painted the intercooler black and went ahead and put my stencil over the top and painted the stencil green, and this is what it looks like. I think it looks pretty nice, pretty stealth, but also you can kind of notice that it's there. So it looks good to me. I really like how this is turning out, and that's the thing, it's a personal preference, but this K-swap's going to be super fun whenever it gets going and tuned. I want to show you how much is left from the intercooler kit. So there's actually quite a bit left, considering this is for a 92 to 95 D series or B series intercooler kit, and everything I used on this kit came out of this intercooler kit besides one coupler. One coupler was a double-ended 2.5 inch, and that's the only one I had to put on myself that didn't come in the kit. So you can definitely use a 92 to 95 Civic Maxpeedingrods intercooler and piping kit. You just got to customize it a little bit to make it work, but has clearance for everything. We still gotta do something with the radiator hose setup, but that should be super simple. This is just kind of mocking it up, but that'll be pretty easy. Then I've got to get the ECU and immobilizer set up, or get K-Pro. Both are super expensive, I don't have money for, so I'm just doing what I can in the meantime. So I think it looks awesome, and I really can't wait to hear this thing rip down the road. So moving on to the drive shaft, I did figure some stuff out, which I will give you a little input here. Okay, so right here's the RX-8 shaft. I went ahead and was able to get the U-joint off on the sides. That sucked really bad, by the way. Best bet is to cut this part off so that way you don't damage these. But this is the RX-8 yoke. It fits right inside the transmission perfectly. Now it's called a slip yoke, so it can slip in and out due to suspension travel and the drive shaft movement. So that's a really good thing, because with this installed in the transmission, I measured with this installed and the factory drive shaft, and we have really good news. If I can get a U-joint kind of like this one that has 1330 on these two sides for this shaft right here, and then this side we'd have the 1350s, maybe that's backwards, either way, a 1350 and a 1330 setup, and we can get this on here. I already tried a couple universal conversion kits and they didn't work. Unfortunately, I just have to try a lot of different ones because I need the exact length. Now the problem is this right here, I can get one side in but not the other, and on this one I can only get one side in, not the other. But on this one here, it goes right in and it would be perfect. So I need this diameter here for the sides, and then I need this diameter for the shaft. So my best bet is probably just going to be take it to a drive shaft shop and hope that they help me. I did contact a few, and one person said they could build me an entire shaft, a brand new shaft, for $599 that I do not have. So I'm trying to take the easiest and cheapest route, which would probably be just getting a universal joint kit with the exact measurements I need. And then we could bolt this in because I did the measurements and it lines up perfect with suspension travel room. So once this is in, I will be able to use the RX-8 yoke and the Mazda B2300 Ford Ranger drive shaft. So it is possible to get done. I've seen plenty of people use these conversion kits with success. So I just need to get to it. So that will be coming soon. With all that aside, I hope you enjoyed the video and learned something new. I'm doing the best I can. I don't know everything, and I'm trying to learn just like you guys. And what I do learn, I am trying to share with you. So I appreciate all the feedback, all the suggestions in the comments, and over on Instagram, all the inboxes and help and support from everybody. It helps tremendously, and I am eternally grateful. So I'm gonna go ahead and get off here. I gotta get this video edited and out to you guys, so I will see you in the next video. And as I like to say, God bless, stay safe, stay awesome.